So, for those of you who have been around on my channel for a while, you guys know that I do this thing called Mistaken Identity Pokemon Theory Monday, always a mouthful, and I have about 30 of those videos where I talk about whether two characters are related to each other, or if they're the same person, sometimes in disguise. Usually that only happens with like evil teen people, but hey. So, today we're actually going to go through all 31 of the ones that I've released so far on this channel over the entire life of the channel. So like even the one I technically made back in 2023? Yeah, and we're going to tier list them. So hi everybody, my name is Lane and thank you for coming to my channel. With that, let's get started. Alrighty you guys, so to start this off, we are going to go through our tiers, and I actually made up tier names for them for this video. So at the very top we have the ones that are actually confirmed. So these are the ones that are like there's in-game confirmation for this stuff. Then below that we have almost confirmed. These are the ones where it's, in my opinion, there's so much evidence it just hasn't actually been confirmed yet. In the confirmed one, we're gonna have the ones that are like basically confirmed. I'll get to that later because you'll understand what I mean by then. And then we have needs more evidence. These are the ones that could be true, but we need more evidence. We have the ones under that I wish it's true, but it's probably not true. And then we have probably not true. And then we have the ones that are just not true. Like in those videos, I usually go ahead and I confirm in that video where it's just not true. So you'll see what I mean with that too. So to start this off, we have the video I created way back when. This is like when I was making not tier list, timeline videos back in the day, which I'm going to start doing again here in the new year. We have Cynthia and Kogita being the same person, not just related, but the same person. I personally, these are all my personal opinions by the way, I think that this is almost confirmed. Just because I feel like they are too similar personality-wise to actually not. And she has this air of mystery about her, Kogita, well, and Cynthia, but I think that Kogita is just too similar. And then in that theory, it also is that, so, and I don't want to give out too much information because I want you guys to go back and watch those videos too, but in that video, I think that Cynthia, when you go back in time to the Sinjo ruins, that's actually you being transported back in time to the, not to the creation of the universe, of course, but to a time period where Cynthia travels back to Sinnoh, but she finds out that it's Hisui. She lives out her life there. She has Volo as a child. So there's a lot in that video. And I mean, that's how Volo knew exactly what team Cynthia used, and that's how he was able, it's a very good video in my opinion, especially for way back then when I was just creating stuff, like starting out. So anyways, I do think that this is almost confirmed. I think that the evidence definitely supports it, but yeah. Now this is that Lucy is the mother of Kieran and Carmine. And this is my most watched short to this day. Has over like 63,000 views, which is crazy because this is definitely not one of my better shorts. I made that one over a year ago. But I want to say that this one's almost confirmed. I don't necessarily know if I have presented it in a way that did this theory justice back in the day, but I definitely do think that this is an almost confirmed theory just based off of all of their appearances. Not saying that not everyone in the Pokemon series can have a snake-like appearance or use snake-like Pokemon, but I definitely do think that this is an almost confirmed theory, and I do love it. It's a theory that I hold near and dear to my heart. Next we have is Director Clavel and Grusha. Are they the same person? This is not true. This theory came from the fact that they both have the same trainer ID, and you can find that out by trading Pokemon to them in the DLC for the Teal Mask. And it is not true. It's just most likely an oversight done by the Pokemon Company, and it's still a fun theory to think about. My second most viewed short of all time, but still just a fun one. And the next one that we have is Kabu and Flannery, which I'm gonna put all the way up in almost confirmed. I just feel like all of the puzzle pieces are there for that one. Like the way that they are both fire-type gym leaders. She took over for her grandfather. He was a gym leader in the Hoenn region. They both have the same like stance and all of that. Like I just feel like it's all like too perfect. It all just fits. Yeah, I just feel like it all just fits really, really well. Next we have Giovanni and Blake Hall from Pokemon Ranger Shadow of Almea. And I'm gonna put that in probably not true. I want that to be true just because they both give off like mob boss vibes. But overall, I just don't think that there's enough evidence. I like the story that I proposed with all of it, but yeah, overall, I don't think that there's enough for it. Then we have N and Zorark. I can never say that name, even though it's one of my favorite Pokemon, Zorark. I think that this is almost confirmed. It's, yeah, just the physical similarities, the plot line with it, the fact that he uses one, the fact, like, in the memory link, like, you get led to where N is. It's just, all of the pieces are there with this one, too. It's just, Pokemon just needs to connect and put them together. Make it make sense. Next we have Will and Lorelei being the same person. I wish this was true, but it's probably not. I think that, once again, like with all of the almost confirmed ones, I think that all of the puzzle pieces are there. Pokemon can put it together. I do think that Lorelei being Will, meaning that Lorelei is our first transgender Pokemon character, is very, very out there. I definitely don't think that this was the intention of the Pokemon Company, but once again, all the puzzle pieces are there. We just need to actually push through and connect them. But yeah, I don't think that this one's true, even though I do really enjoy it. Next we have Winona being the sister of the Wintown Pokemon Ranger leader, Alita. Now, I do like this one. I do think it needs more evidence. Alita is a character that hasn't been revisited since Pokemon Ranger came out, like a billion years ago at this point. I think that this is a plausible theory, given that they are both trainers who use Skarmory. They have similar hair color. Their colors revolve around like this lighter blue in certain aspects of their designs. And all of Winona's Pokemon are Pokemon that you can find, or at least majority of them are Pokemon you can find in the Fior region, which is where Pokemon Ranger takes place. So the theory was that Winona left Fiore to become a gym leader, and she left behind her sister. I think that it's plausible, but I don't necessarily know if we have enough evidence for it. Now we have the Team Star Captain Eerie being a descendant of Ingo, which is not true, sadly. As we find out in the DLC for the Teal Mask, or the DLC for the Indigo Disc for Scarlet and Violet, all of Eerie's lighter colored hair and contacts, they're contacts in a wig, essentially. It's all part of her persona being a pro wrestler. And of course, we do find out later that Ingo actually comes back from being in Hisui due to the artwork in the Lumio City Museum. Next, we have Professor Birch and Professor Willow. That's not Willow. That's Birch and Professor Mirror from Pokemon New Pokemon Snap. This is the theory that they're brothers. I think that this is something that needs more evidence. I'm not going to say it's not true. Just based off of their physical similarities, I think that it's definitely a possibility. The fact that they both study Pokemon ecology, I definitely think that that's a point in their favor, how they both study the habitats of Pokemon. I definitely think that it needs more evidence, but it's definitely a possibility. Now, this is the theory that actually got me started on this path of doing mistaken identity Pokemon theories, but it's something that I never really explored too much until this point in the series, because all of these are in order of how they come out. I really wish that it's true that Malva and Lavana, so Malva's from Pokemon X and Y, Lavana is from Pokemon Ranger Shadow of Almia, are the same person. They're both fire type trainers. They both are not necessarily a trainer. They both use fire types, and they both have pink hair. They're both related to the evil team of their region. I wish that this is true, but there's just not enough supporting evidence for it. I'm gonna bump it up to needs more evidence. I definitely think it's a possibility because we don't know what happened to Lavana after she escaped from the tumbling tower. So I definitely think it's a possibility, and I love that theory. Okay, and next we have Ein being Colress. In my opinion, Ein is from Pokemon Coliseum, which is a side series spin-off game, and then we have Colress, I can never say his name either, from Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. I feel like this is almost confirmed. I just think that they are way too similar for this to actually not be confirmed. Like, they both have the weird hair thing, they both wear lab coats, the main draw of this theory is that they both focus on bringing out the true power of Pokemon. I used shadowization, or turning them into shadow Pokemon, while Colress used technical means like the Colress machine or the Ensolarizer and Lunarizer. Can't say that word either. I just can't speak. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I do think that this is an almost confirmed theory, and I do wish that I really hope that it's true, just because it gets to connect one of the newer, not really, one of the newish games with something that came out like 25 years ago. So I really hope it's true. We have that Hideyoshi and Nobunaga from Pokemon Conquest are actually the twin heroes from the Unova Legends. I don't think this is true. I'm not gonna say it's confirmed as not true, but I don't think it's true. This theory specifically hinges on the fact that not many trainers ever use Zekrom or Reshiram, and both of these trainers did have the ownership of them. I know that in the initial in the initial thing about the twin heroes, it is that they are twins. And I kind of spun that to not be twins necessarily, but to be more brothers, or brothers in arms, because Hideyoshi is actually Nobunaga's second in command. So it's probably not true. It'd be really cool if it was, because it would also connect an outside game to the main series, which of course I love to do. So would be cool, probably not though. Next we have that the admins from Fire Red and Leaf Green are actually the executives. I may have said that backwards. The executives, no, I said that right. So I know it's not 100% confirmed, but it is. It's pretty confirmed that these are the same people. So these are the leaders of the Sebi Island branch of Team Rocket, turning into the actual admins that we see in the Heart Gold and Soul Silver game. Now, this is my most unviewed video. It only has 100 views for shorts, which is crazy to me, because usually at least the shorts get minimum 1,000 views. So this is crazy that it only had 100, but hey, it's pretty much confirmed. No, I'm gonna just say it. It's confirmed. Sadly, it just, we don't have that verbal connection. But next we have Ariana being Silver's mom. This is almost confirmed. There's too much supporting evidence for this. I mean, look at how they're standing and tell me that they're not related. Look at their hair. The fact that they're both associated with Giovanni Silver being his son, and then Ariana being one of the top executives. It's just, I feel once again, all the pieces are there. Game Freak Pokemon just needs to actually connect them. Now, Silver and Mars. I really want this to be true. I really want it to be true. This was mainly based off of physical similarities though, not really any other in-game evidence other than the fact that they're both tied to evil leaders, evil teams. I mean, guaranteed if they're not brother and sister, they're probably at least descendants from Arizu, the same character. So I mean, they're at least related, connected, bare minimum, but it's not connection enough in my opinion. And next we have that Corbeau from Pokemon Legends ZA is actually the parent of Carmine, and Kieran. And I'm gonna put this down and probably not true. And I don't even wish that it's true. I think that this is just probably not true. We get a lot of lore from Corbeau in the game that definitely has points against this. Whether or not that is that he somehow knew a leader from Kanto, or the fact that he financed by Lysander when he first got to Lumio City. The timeline just wouldn't fit perfectly, or really at all. It doesn't fit nicely any way you look at it. I've scrambled my brain since this game came out, trying to make it work, make it make sense, and it just doesn't. And I know probably a lot of people are gonna have an issue with that. I don't think that it's true. Next, and this is once again a YouTube video that I made. It wasn't necessarily even a short, but this is that the protagonist from X and Y are the siblings of the protagonist from ZA, which I'm gonna put this in not true. It's almost confirmed that the player character from ZA is actually traveling to Lumio City to visit. They are there on vacation. They are not there to Like, they aren't from the Kalos region. And in this theory, it also talked about how Paxton and Harmony, the player characters, look a lot like the mom character from X and Y and Professor Sycamore, which I'm not saying that they're not together, because I feel like it's hinted very heavily that they are. I just don't necessarily think that this is true. Based off of the ages that they are in the game, it looks like they're about like mid to late teens, I want to say. I don't know for sure. The timeline just wouldn't have fit because it's only 5 years from X and Y to ZA. So this theory doesn't fit, and it doesn't hold any solid evidence for me. So I'm gonna put it down in not true. Now we have Professor Oak being Grand Oak from the Pokemon storage system Home. I feel like this is almost confirmed. I feel like he just put on glasses, he grew his hair out, and he put on some jeans. He's just trying to be cool. He's just trying to be one of the kids. And I mean, hey, the initial goal of Professor Oak was to create a Pokedex. Grand Oak is to create the ultimate Pokedex. Like, it's almost confirmed. It's pretty much there. Next, we have Agatha being an older version of Glacia, and this is just not true. When I made this video, I was really grasping at straws trying to come up with a spooky idea or talk about a spooky ghost trainer, since it was coming out the week of Halloween. This did not stick, did not land, but I still made the video just because, weirdly enough, there's a lot of convincing evidence, like the fact that their trainer artwork is so similar, they look similar, they both use ghost and ice types, which Frostlass is a Pokemon Glacia uses that is a ghost and ice type. I don't know. There was some evidence, but definitely not enough, and it's just not true. It's such a far-fetched thing. Now next we have that Cyrus is the son of Mr. Backlot, and he is connected to the Pokemon Chateau, the old Chateau, and the Pokemon Mansion because of that. Now that was a really long video that I made for Halloween, and it was a very dark video, but I liked it. It was fun. So I'm gonna put that needs more evidence. I don't necessarily want to say it's not true because it very well could be true. We don't have enough evidence about them, period. Other than that Cyrus comes from Sunny Shore City. That doesn't mean that he couldn't have moved to the old Chateau. We just know that that's where he was initially from. But yeah, overall, that was a really fun video, really good video. And yeah, I just definitely think that was a good theory. It's just, yeah. Now we have Bill and Valerie being a brother and sister. I'm gonna put that, I really like this theory. I'm gonna put that up in almost confirmed. It might not be, but I feel like it's almost confirmed. It's just all of, like I said, with pretty much everything in almost confirmed. All of the puzzle pieces are there. Pokemon just needs to make a decision and confirm it. Like, Valerie is not from the Kanto region. She can't wink. That's something that they mentioned in Heart Gold Soul Silver about Bill's sister. And it's just, like, Pokemon just needs to throw me a bone. Like, come on, guys. Like, I've been working hard at this. Just help me out. Come on. Okay. Next, we got Tierno being the older brother of Lita from ZA, and this was confirmed in the DLC, Mega Dimensions, that Tierno is actually not her full brother, but her half-brother. And yeah, like, come on, guys. This one was pretty much confirmed from the get-go. Like, come on, look at him. Like, come on. Okay, next we have Guzma being the brother of Kahili. And I really wish that this was true. I think that both of these are characters that we did not get enough lore about. I think that both of them being related to golfers, Kahili actually being a golfer, super compelling. I think that they laid out all of the puzzle pieces, but they didn't give us enough. So I'm not going to put it needs more evidence, because I think that what they provided was enough for us to make those connections. But I really wish that this was true. I really wish that this was a way that they could do that for us. So we have Vinny being the father of Shauna, the rival character from X and Y. I think this is almost confirmed. No, I'm gonna put it down in needs more evidence. This is one of my most popular shorts for very obvious reasons, because it talks about two characters that, once again, we don't have a ton of information about. We know that Vinny has a daughter. We know that they look similar. We know that they both use like early route Pokemon. I think that it's super, super likely that they're related. I'll put it I'll put it down there. But it's just, we don't have enough evidence to go on to actually make a great call on it. I do definitely think it's a great theory. But overall, we don't have enough to go off of. So this theory is about Mira being I'm supposed to put that there. This theory was about Mira being a runaway Nurse Joy, like a younger Nurse Joy who ran away. I feel like this is super, super likely. I do know that both Mira and the Nurse Joy like clan, I guess, because they're all like the same person, but they're not in ZA. I don't know. But like, they all are descendants of Pecel, the character from Pokemon Legends ZA. So and that like explains like their visual similarities and all of that stuff. But I definitely think that we need more evidence to actually connect them to each other. If they would have made Mira the stat trainer for HP, I probably would have bumped this up to almost confirmed. But given that she is the stat trainer for special attack, like there's not enough connections to actually make her a runaway Nurse Joy. So this is the theory that Iris and Drayden are related. In the actual short, I said that they are brother and sister, which, I mean, no, they're not. And this all stems from the fact that they're both related to Drayden. What did I call him? Did I call him Drayden? His name's Drayden. Drayden is the gym leader from Black and White. But Drayden adopted Iris, but we know that Drayden is actually Drayden's biological grandson. So it's confirmed that they're related, if not biologically, but like chosen family adopted wise. So that part of it is confirmed at least. So next we have my missing kimono girl video, which you definitely should watch because that was a lot of fun to make, where I go into the theory that Perrin and Candace are the missing kimono girls, and by extension Valerie is one too. And I'm gonna put both of those in. I wish it was true, like, because I love that video. I put so much work into that, and it was just I really, really, really want it to be true, but I don't necessarily know if it is. I don't think that they probably are missing kimono girls end of the day, but it was such a good video, such a fun video to make, so I really, 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 really want it to be true. Next, we have that Leon and Hop are the cousins of Iris, the gym leader and champion of the Unova region, which is not true. I knew this going into making the short, but I already did all the recording and stuff for it, so I was like, I'm not just gonna not make the video. But the scene that I was using from Pokemon Masters, where Iris specifically calls Leon her cousin, it was doctored. It's not real. But I still was like, I already recorded this. I'm not gonna just not make it. So if you look in the video, I put like debunked, and it's like floating across the screen. But yeah, overall, like, it's an interesting theory because they look similar. Iris and Leon both use a Haxorus. Like, it's a really cool theory. It's just not confirmed, and there's not enough to go off of for it. And next, we have the Trickmaster and Petrel being related, which probably not. Looking back on it, there's other characters that can transform or duplicate themselves. Like, if you look at Koga from Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, like, he has so many different clones of himself. Like, it's not super, super unique, but unique enough. It's definitely a possibility that they could be related, but honestly, Petrel just could be a descendant of Koga. We'll go into that next year, I guess. Alright, you guys, my hair's a mess, jeez. Alright, you guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. If you give me your thoughts and opinions on this, you guys always do on my shorts, and I greatly appreciate that. But let me know what your thoughts, comments, subscribe, like, all the fun stuff, and I will see you guys in the next one. Oh, and with it, yeah, I don't even know. Have a good one. Bye!